Welcome to White Label American Podcast. This is a podcast that brings you bold, in-depth interviews with interesting people that are mostly immigrants taking down artificial walls one story at a time. This is a podcast that empowers immigrants to share their stories and listen to those of others. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the Olympics episode of White Label American. I am your host, Raphael Harry, and I am honored to have here with me virtually some distinguished guests. You know, all our guests are distinguished, but today we have extra special MVPs in the studio virtually. So, all the way from Tennessee, the award-winning brother, Mr. Dominic Lawson. How you doing, brother?
I am living the dream, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. And we have the life of the party. You know, if you don't know her, well, now you do. Welcome on the show, Mimi. How you doing?
Hey, everybody. I'm doing good. Glad to be here.
Hey, Weyu, our sister who's yet to come in the studio for a solo episode, but she will come one day. She's been to the studio once already, but we're waiting for her to come for a solo episode. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. How's everyone doing?
We are well. We are well.
So, for the past few days, we've all been in Paris. You know, none of us has taken it deep into the river Seine. Is it river Seine or river Seine? Or how do you say that? Say that river. But none of us has tried to take it deep in there. That's why we watch it only virtually for now. But, you know, we'll be there one day. And shout out to the triathlon athletes who've done that. But it's been a fun Olympics. There's been a lot of happenings, and yeah, we've been enjoying this Olympics. But how's it been for you guys? How's the whole Olympics been for you?
I'll go after you, Mimi.
Yeah. I mean, I've been enjoying the Olympics. I haven't been able to catch many of them during the day. Been watching most of the replays at night. Been missing out on some of the newer games and activities, but I haven't seen any of the breakdancing yet. But of course, I've been catching the gymnastics. I like the diving, actually. You know, I don't know what it is about the splash going in the water, or the lack of splash. But and then, of course, our honorary, announcer and speaker, Snoop.
Hey,
So I've been loving his participation in the games too.
that's right. That's right. Hey, Uncle Snoop. Hey, shout out to him, man. Shout out to him.
I don't know when he became, everyone's favorite uncle, but he's doing it. He's doing it. He's everywhere.
I'm
That's
here
the way
for
to go. What about you, Wayu?
Oh, I have been watching the reruns at night as well, and I love the gymnastics. I'm watching Simone Biles. I'm just like amazed as how much training it requires for her to do that. But also, there's a Brasileira who's also Black and second after Simone Biles, and she's really giving Simone like a run for her money too. So it makes me really proud to see, like, years ago, like, gymnastics look completely different, and now it's two Black women from two different parts of the world like running the show. So I really love that. I watched the swimming as well. I forgot the Ducker, something is her name, but that girl could swim like a whale. I was like, whoa, she could really swim. So I was like watching that as well. I'm just really enjoying everything, as well as Noah and the running. He talks a lot, so I'm not really sure. Like, I like his confidence, but I think he's too cocky. So yeah.
I love Noah. I mean, if you But did before I go to the sprinting, did you watch the Simone Biles document mini special on? Well, actually, it's going to have a season 2, so it's a full series on Netflix.
I haven't seen
Oh
it.
yes, I have.
Okay,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
yeah, that's something that I recommend. It's a good watch. I haven't finished watching it. I started it not long ago, so just wanted to put that out
I'll
there.
add it to my list.
Yeah, it's but for when it comes to the sprinters, I recommend watching Sprint. If you haven't watched
Oh
Sprint,
yeah.
it humanizes the
It's really
athletes.
good.
So that made me even fall in love more than I already was with Noah Lyles, because I've been watching athletics probably since my first Olympics that I officially watched was 92, Barcelona 92. So
Same.
they're set. Noah Lyles is nothing new to what sprinters are. That's 96 was when damn, what's the American trying to remember the American's name, who used to always lick his lips. He used to always do this. Yeah, I was like, man, what are you doing? Every time it's like before he ran, he's always. I was like, how much lip gloss this guy use? I call it lip gloss, chapstick. I mean, chapstick, not lip gloss. But he always was licking the whole lips. I was like, man, your past life, what were you like? Just lick. I was like, man, bro, what is that was his thing? But I think that was part of his confidence thing. But he's always going his lips was always. I was like, man. But once you sprinters they talk. It's part of the confidence boost.
It's yeah, it's part of
Yes,
the mental thing. Yeah.
but I don't know. They
Yeah.
even were like, they
Oh,
made a
you haven't
comment.
gotten to the Jamaicans yet. Watch sprints. When you watch sprints, then you see it. You,
But not even Usain Bolt. Of course, he
oh,
did
but
his little. I don't know his thing.
yeah,
But
that's
I felt like I
Ah,
felt like he didn't talk as much
no,
as
no, he did. No,
as
you
Noah.
you
Noah
be
is like
modest if you both talk both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
both talked.
Both talked.
mm.
I'm a big both fan. He talked. Both talked.
but he he backed it up too.
And Noah
And
is backing it
so
up because Noah is a 200 meters guy and he moves to
he's
100.
okay, he won. Right.
Yeah.
He lost last night. Didn't he like lose to somebody? He was like second? Or am I
In the
mistaken?
semifinal.
And
To
the
the
200
semifinal.
and the semifinal,
Yeah.
he's gonna run it
Mhm.
today.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
But
today
I just feel like Usain Bolt was like way ahead of the runners, and Noah Lyles, like they had to run the tape back to make sure he won.
no, but yes, that trust me, it's but Noah still won, and it was because on my Facebook I posted the image that Eurosport was the first to post it, where like over if you look overhead, you see that Noah won clearly. But if it's from the side view that they use on the TV, that's when it looks like there was a struggle to tell who won. But if it's from overhead, you saw that it was Noah Lyles clearly, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Usain Bolt had an embarrassment of riches. Not only was he really fast, he's like 6'5",
yeah.
right?
That's
So
true.
it's like that.
That's
he's
why
like
I recommend.
6'5", so it's like super tall,
Yeah.
long strides, right?
That's
So
true.
That's why I recommend watching sprints, because if you watch sprints, I don't know, Don, did you watch sprints?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I
So
watched sprint and
you know the
rising. They're
person
both very
who
good.
has the Usain Bolt build, the British guy, but doesn't have the mental. It's the mentals. That's where he struggles. And even though Elias was bigging him up when they were in London last year, and he set the British record. And Noah Elias was telling him that boss, you set the British record, but I'll beat you. But you set the British
Right.
record, and he did it. And Noah Elias was the
He
first person to
did.
tell him that, hey man, I told you you're gonna set the British record.
He did.
But he couldn't
did.
even make the finals for the 100
Right.
this time. And that's why I love Noah Lyles, because it's all of them. That's why I recommend watching sprint, because it humanizes them. If you just pause your whatever you think of Noah Lyles, pause it, watch sprint, you see all of them, because even his mom talks about it. The Usain Bolt talks about it. Usain Bolt is in sprint. All the big names are in sprint, and you start seeing the weaknesses and the strengths of all these sprinters. The Jamaican women fighting each other, fighting their trainer, and unfortunately, all three of them were out of this. Oh, that's what pained me the most because oh man, I was looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Because you're not only fighting, it's not before. I thought what the main fight was against Shakari, and then then you watch sprint and say like, oh man, there's some serious beef going on between Jamaican versus Jamaican, and it's like, oh, this is yeah, it's bigger than I. Yeah, it's oh, and then all three of them got injured, and it's like, dang, life can be because that sprint really built them up, and then the girl who wasn't in sprint won the 100 meters.
Yeah, she's from St. Lucia, right?
Yeah, St. Lucia. So she's gonna
I
be
was
in
like-
season 2. I think she's gonna be
for sure.
in season
Yeah.
2.
For
'cause,
sure.
Yeah, that was a well done documentary. And then shout out to the guy from Italy. I think he didn't get a medal, but
He got a medal in my book.
hey. Hell yeah.
Woo. Mimi crushing over
Hey.
there. Okay.
I mean, he's a handsome dude, man. Them Italians got that go. And back when I was in Nigeria, though, there were times you'd be watching soccer and there'll be one of our cousins would come by, just walking by like, ooh, what is this? It's Italian foot. I like this Italian team. Why? Look, they see look how beautiful the men are. Really? That's why you want to watch the oh hell yeah! I like this team.
You know, it's like wow.
It was Italians who started dressing their men's soccer team cool and sexy, suit them up, and other teams would just be like, whatever, man. And then when you see Italian teams show up, it's like, oh man, and then it's like, oh, the women be like, ooh, and hey, they started women watch games too. you gotta get the fans.
I mean,
but I felt for him because I was among the school of thought that let me make it clear for the audience. So Marcel Jacobs wins Tokyo 100 meters. Wasn't expected. That was out of the blue. Runs 9.80, and he wasn't on anybody's card to win that race. And then starts getting injured after the event. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're the new guy, or you're the king of the block." Black Italian, hottest guy on tracks, and then maybe was it a fluke that he won, that kind of thing. And you see him talking about it in sprint. It's something that it was also in his head. But why I consider him a winner from the 100 meters race? Yes, he finished 5th, but the time that he ran, which in this race that was the fastest time in fastest 100 meter race ever in history. He ran 9.85.
That was a very fast race.
It was.
Yes,
That was a very fast race.
fast race.
was running fast. Yeah.
So
I think somebody was pointing out that like when Carl Lewis won in 88, last place in this race was still faster than Carl Lewis in 88.
Yeah.
So it's like that was a very fast race.
It was. So you got to give that's why the main weakness Noah Lyles has is his start, because he's a 200 meter guy. He started in 200 meters. So
he's not a great starter in 100 for sure.
Once he fixes that, and in sprints they talk about that a lot.
Same thing with Sha'Carri too.
Yeah,
like they don't
that's
get
what
off the
killed her.
They don't get off the blocks very well.
If she can fix that, and Noah Lyles can fix that, dude is gone. He's gone because his finishes are very strong finish. But that start, that's where he needs to finish.
That's what they were saying about Usain Bolt too, that in sprint, the documentary, that he doesn't start well, but he knows how to because he's tall, he's able to run
physique.
fast and run past. Exactly.
Because Usain Bolt has a physique that wasn't common to see for sprinters, 100 meter sprinters. It was rare to see people like that running with that physique. Running 100 meters. Usually it's like 400 meters, and he was using that to his advantage, and he was able to dominate with that. Because once you can master that physique in a 100 meter sprint, like Usain Bolt, then it's easy. Like the only person who was able to do a little bit of it was Fred Kelly. And he hasn't been consistent with it because he has that height, but he's a little bit bigger than Usain Bolt. So Zane Hughes of Great Britain was the guy who they were thinking, he's the slimmer type like Usain Bolt, almost exact build. And then he broke the British record. So it was looking like, okay, he's on the track. but he's never really recovered from being disqualified at Tokyo. Since then, he's been struggling. If he can just get it out of his, like, as soon as he comes around his competitors and that preparation begins for a race, you see him start losing it. He gets into his head.
I think that's part of, those superstar sprinters, right? Like, I know where you was talking about, like, maybe don't like a lot of the flash with Noah Lyles and Usain Bolt, but like, I think that's kind of the X factor.
Yes.
Like, that's kind of what propels those people to the top of that sport. Yeah. Like, it does come off a bit much, but I mean, a lot of times they do back it up though. And I think it's that confidence.
It's actually
that confidence.
The easiest thing to do is to talk. But the hardest thing to do is to talk and back it up, because that's more training. You do
and it's real hard to shut up a person when they back it up. It really is.
I think so. I appreciate him for like setting his goals, and you could tell that his mind, because even in the documentary Sprint, they were talking about people's minds and what kind of mindset you have to have besides just the physical body. So I appreciate him, like that mindset he has. Like, I believe that no one can beat him because of that mindset. But there's a difference between confident and cocky to me. And you can exert confidence, but you don't need to be cocky. And I feel like he was jumping on the side of, like, I don't know, like where the bleachers were. Like, I was like, that's not necessary. It's not necessary.
Because you're pumping yourself up. You got to.
Yeah,
because he's nervous.
But that's great.
But you know that at the end of the day, they're all nervous. They're all nervous. And it's letting out steam. That's it. They're all letting out. Because you prepare, you like for the 100 meters, I think they ran the semifinals and the final on the same day. So you're not around your coach. You're not around your people to build you up, to pump you up. So all that, so whatever you're going through, you got to release it some way. You are your own motivator at that point in time. So if you are if you are participating in an event like that, then you have to find your way to let go, to, because you're dealing with a lot of things in here, and you have to figure out how to, and to let it out. And I think that's part of the things people need to realize, that sprinters are the loudest. They tend to be the loudest in athletics. But also they work with certain things that might be considered disadvantage, or certain hurdles that they have to, for lack of a better pun, that they have to go over to as part of their sport. But like for the 200 meters, you see they had the semi-final yesterday, and then they have a day break in between before the final. So now you work with your coach. Your coach can tell you, okay, this is what you did wrong for the semi-final. This is where you need to improve, all that. But if you're having the semi-final and the final the same day, and you don't really have time to go fix all this, it's all bang, 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 then you got to be your biggest coach, your biggest cheerleader, and so hey, if it takes you jumping as high as you need to jump without injuring yourself, because that's also a factor, you have to keep that in mind.
I'm always like, oh, I hope he doesn't like twist a knee or
because that's a real thing.
Because he gets up so high.
He gets so high. But I've seen it in soccer too. It happens in soccer because we have to, why it looks like I'm defending Noah Lyles hard is if a woman does the same thing, they go harder on them. And I'm like, we need to allow these people express themselves, be themselves.
Right.
Like in sprint, you see, I think it was before the World Championship, and Marcel Jacobs, when they are doing their warm-ups, and he does the little run, and he's like, he does this little yell thing. That's him pumping himself up. But he's not talking to anybody, but he's doing that to himself. So everybody has their own thing that they are doing. Somebody is jumping up high. That is him, but it's all nervousness. They're all nervous. And Noah Lyles has said it before. If you listen to his interviews, he admits that he's nervous. His mom says he's a very emotional boy. People miss all that. His mother is a former athlete. She knows her child. people look at the loudness and say, "Oh, I don't like this guy." It's all the boy is very nervous, but he knows how to hide it under the things that people focus on the most because you don't want you.
Can I say something?
Men are not
Well,
allowed to be emotional. Yeah,
well,
no, it
can I
is.
say
It's,
something? So that's all good when he's like out there and he's about to run.
yeah.
But even if you notice, like the press, when he's answering questions, he doesn't need to come off the way that he comes off, and that
But
is
there's no
not. That has
perfect
nothing
way.
to
What was the
do.
perfect way for him to come out?
What is the other runner? He was third, and he comes
Those
from
quiet ones, we don't even know their names.
No, he's no, but he was
Well played, Mimi. Well played.
but he was in sprint as well, right? And he had a journey where he lost the qualifier, and now in this recent sprint with Noah Lyles, he was third. What is his name? He's American as well. He's tall.
Oh, wait. For you talking about the 100 or the 200?
I'm talking about the 100.
The guy who
Fred
came.
Curley, maybe.
Oh, Fred Curley.
Yes,
Kelly
Fred
doesn't
Curley.
talk. You know, Kelly doesn't talk.
Wait. But let me tell you. So
Okay.
during the press release in Sprint, the documentary,
Yes.
they were asking Noah Lyles, or they're asking Freddie Curley a question like, "Oh, something about he didn't do good the last season and how he's gonna perform this season." And he was just like, I'm gonna do well. And they were like, "Are you gonna beat Noah Lyles or something?" And Noah Lyles just was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna beat him." And he was just like, was that necessary?
Yeah.
But that's an example of him, like, that's just personality for me. That's just like him.
What is wrong with that? Boxers, what do boxers say?
You don't have to be like that when you're running a sport. It's called sportsmanship.
You know what I think it's like though? I think it's like, how you have like method actors?
Yeah.
And like when they like in the zone, and they're like how Daniel Day-Lewis built a whole thing so he can get in character for something or whatever, right? I see it like that, right? Like when you're in between those lines, anything within the track and field stratosphere, like you're in focus. But like if you take Noah Lyles outside of track and field, he's probably the nicest guy you'll ever meet in your life. But when it comes to track, it's like, nah.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm somebody.
He's man competitive on the track field. I mean, Kelly doesn't have personality outside of track. He doesn't.
Personality.
He does. His personality is, I am a farmer. Once
he's a farmer. He sits on his truck and
I go back to my family. I just want to go take care of my cows and chicken, and that's it. And then when it's time to run, I come here and run. That's it. So
I mean, if you think about it, some of these athletes, they're they're entertainers. They're like in the media, like some of them might want to disappear. They might want to be a farmer, and they're humble, and they come out every 4 years, and then they go back into hiding. But some of them, this is a lifestyle. You can make this work for you. You can have all kind of like commercials and advertising and that personality and that confidence. And even if
it's sales.
Yeah, it sells.
I mean, one thing Noah Lyles has said is he wants to make the sport. He wants to make the sport bigger. He wants the sport to be bigger than it is because he believes they don't get enough credit for the amount of work they put in. So he's willing to be the face of the sport, being the face of
and lightning rod, I guess.
Hell yeah! And look at Marcel Jacobs had to run away from Italy after Tokyo because he became so popular that he couldn't go anywhere in Italy.
Yeah.
So that's why he lives in Florida now. Because the dude, at first it was cool and all nice. Yeah, everybody is throwing everything at you, and then he's like, "Oh man, I can't literally walk on the street." So
when you look at Gabby, what's her last name? The young runner,
Thomas.
Gabby Thomas.
Gabby Thomas.
So I mean, like all the things she does between, working and school and running, training. They're training 5 to 6 hours a day.
Yeah.
To run, like you can't. Yeah. You have to be in that mindset and, be like, I'm going to win. I don't want to spend that. I barely spend that much time at work.
Hell yeah,
Mm,
please.
What's
You
the
know?
saying? They say they spend, especially the 100-meter runners, they spend 4 years to run 9 seconds. Like
Imagine,
that
yes.
that juxtaposition is crazy.
imagine that.
Mental,
Woo.
yeah, that's a mental thing. Like all those other ones, they're just there to pack up the dust behind them because they're not going to make it. You
Yeah.
know?
So I do have to say, okay, so maybe sprint running is different from gymnastics,
Oh
right?
hell yeah.
But if you know, of course it is two different sports, in terms of training, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But if you notice Simone Biles and you notice Rebecca from Brazil, when they were they were asking them about like who's gonna win, like beefing things up. Simone Biles didn't respond the same way,
Why? But why must
right?
she?
But Simone Biles is also like a high performer as well.
Mhm.
So I don't think you need to demonstrate sportsmanship in that sort of like very, oh my God, I'm gonna beat you
Okay,
9 seconds
no.
on the clock.
I think
Like I don't
That way in
well, I think you're
monopoly.
making one grave
You
error
don't take
here.
stage
no,
here.
I don't think it's necessary to be like that.
It's
I really
not.
don't.
It's not.
But
But
I
you
think,
can't use one size fits all for
yeah.
No,
everybody. It's
it's true because
it,
people have
it's
different personalities, but
it's but
sportsmanship is sportsmanship.
Well, I
well,
mean,
that's
I
not
think the
right.
thing is the
No, it's
term
not right
because
to say Noah Lyles doesn't practice sportsmanship. Yesterday, when he got beat in the 200 meters
Mm-hmm.
semifinal,
Mm-hmm.
did he refuse to shake hands with the person who beat him? Did he not congratulate the person who beat him? What is
I didn't.
sportsmanship?
yeah,
Sportsmanship
that's what I was
is.
trying to say.
Ed, have you seen a race where Noah Lyles got beat and he just said, "I'm not congratulating person who beat me"? That is sportsmanship. Just because he speaks loud doesn't mean he doesn't practice sportsmanship. We have to be careful when we say somebody doesn't practice sportsmanship because the guy does. The guy is loud. Loudness doesn't mean he doesn't practice. I know people don't practice sportsmanship. That's
He never
because
gets in
when
somebody's
in
face
sprint,
and
when he's telling Zanel Hughes that you are going to break the British national record. It doesn't mean I'm not going to beat you, but you are going to break the British national record. And he beats Zanel Hughes in the race.
Mhm.
And
Mm.
after he beats Zanel Hughes in the race, and he runs to Zanel Hughes and says, "What I tell you, bro? What I tell you, you're going to break that record." That is sportsmanship
Mhm.
because he runs up to him, congratulates him, and but he beats Zanel Hughes in the race. He ran faster than Zanel Hughes, but he's still congratulating him that you set the record. I knew you could do it. Zanel
I
Hughes
mean,
does
even
not believe in himself. That is the problem Zanel
right.
Hughes has.
Mm.
He's
Yeah,
hyping the
it's a
guy. He's hyping
confidence thing.
himself and hyping his own opponent up because he knows the guy doesn't hype himself up. The guy is so timid. And
Mm.
that is a skill set he has. People will say you are loud. People will say you are. It's a black man doing it. That we tend to hit black people with what's her name? Simone Biles doesn't need to do that because first of all, black woman, the judgment is going to come unnecessarily harsh on her. She doesn't need to. But you saw the questions people even ask like, why did you have to bow down to Andrade after you won? Like, well, why she can do whatever she wants. She's won.
Yeah.
She's still the greatest. But people are like,
But
why did
also
you
But
bow down?
but also Simone has been doing a little bit of clap back, and like
Hell yeah,
maybe
she
she
claps
doesn't
back.
like exude it. She's been clapping back for the past few days, so it's in there.
It's in there.
It
Yeah.
just
Hell
don't,
yeah.
it just don't come out the same
We,
way.
we don't look at it the same way, you know. I mean, she
It's
complained
in
about
there.
the bar that she fell from, right? She complained about how it was, but I think there's another thing that she does is that other gymnasts can't speak up, and I think they go to Simone Biles, and once she speaks up, all the gymnasts line up behind her. And it's why many people don't see it as a clapback because it's like, oh, Simone Biles, and then you start seeing all
she's
the
an
gymnasts coming
advocate.
behind her,
Uh-huh.
like but somebody like Noah Lyles does something similar, but because we've identified him first with the loudness, we don't see it the same way. And I'm like, people need to pay attention to the little details. It's all in the little details. That's why I admire both of them, and they don't have to. We don't. I would not. They don't. Everybody doesn't have to be the same. There's different methods to achieve your
I
goals.
agree.
So
I agree.
yeah,
Because I don't want to take away from the man, right? He's
yeah,
a successful runner.
and he's
He's
young.
just, he's
He's still coming
young.
up.
He's He's black. I'm supporting.
He's
I'm
coming
just
up.
saying that sometimes the way he exerts himself is not necessarily, it doesn't rub me the right way. But maybe
it's
other
fine.
people enjoy it and like it.
Oh, listen, I am here for when he pulls out the UGO card
Hey,
out of his uniform.
there you go.
And I'm here for it. But I think to Ralph's point, like he really is trying to bring eyeballs to the sport, and I feel like he feels like if he has to be that lightning rod, then so be it. So that way we're not just talking about track and field every 4 years. We're talking about it in those off seasons and watching world championships and stuff like that. And even again, to Rob's point, like even when that 100-meter race was over and it was like unsure who actually won, he's like, "Hey man," he told the guy from Jamaica, like, "I think you got it."
Yeah, I think you got it.
I
I
think
saw
you
him
got it.
say.
That's sportsmanship.
Now, as soon as he saw he
Yeah,
did
and what happened?
he turned it on.
He's like, "Hey,
He was like-
America, I told you." I would have done the same. I would have done the same.
He turned it on, but before that moment, he did
confident.
say, "You got it." He did say that.
Mhm.
So I think there's something he does have sportsmanship, but I think to Weyu's point though, like I think you get, I mean, she has her preferences, and I think we all have our preferences,
That's
right?
right.
Like I like the UGO card coming out of the uniform. She does not, and I get that. I totally get that.
I know what Weyu likes.
I definitely understand why he's doing it.
I know what Weyu likes. He needs to bring out a hibiscus, a sorrel, couple of sorrel next time. Like, I got you.
No, not at all. But I was reading this quote the other day that says that I agree with this idea of sprint and seeing it only in the Olympics, because I only follow it when I see it in the Olympics, right?
Yep.
But I also think that this quote says sometimes you don't need to reveal your successes only to people that you're close to or to yourself. And I believe that too, because him like putting on, what is it, like IG and Twitter, I'm going to have this time or whatever. He never met that time. Let's be clear. He did win the
But he had
races.
people watching him.
Yes, he
You know, so
did
it's
win the
strategy.
races, right? But he, to his credit, but also like Usain Bolt, when Usain Bolt came out, he really won by a lot.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
There's different ways to get there. That's all I'm saying.
You know what else? You know what the Usain Bolt did? Because one of the things they do in sprinting and talking stuff is they don't say anything, but they look at you as they run past you.
There you go.
Yeah,
Usain Bolt did that a lot.
That's
so it's
serious shade.
That is serious shade in that game. So it's like, it may not come out as like, jumping up and down, but it comes out in other ways. And so I think it comes out. I think they all have it.
All of them do.
In order to get to this level, you have to have something like that, right? Because to Mimi's point earlier, like we see Noah on Tide commercials, and we see him on other stuff, and he has this, that, and the other. You ain't seen Fred Curley on a Wheaties box. You ain't seen him on a Cheerios box, and you probably won't, right?
Kelly don't care. He just busy in the farm, milking his cows, and
that's cool. But I think
I'll go visit him in his farm.
Those type of characters. I think you need more Lord Not Lyles types in order so we can see those other people that way you may like, because otherwise we wouldn't know who they are. We just wouldn't.
But they got to win races too. Just saying.
That's true. They definitely got to win races, but I think you need a Noah Lyles lightning rod type to grow the sport, so that way we can see more Fred Curleys, more Zardell Hugheses, and stuff like that.
So we've spent a lot of time on athletics, on the sprints. There's other sports. Olympics not only about athletics. So, what is an underrated sport that you feel deserves more money and awareness outside of athletics? Obviously, yeah.
Ooh.
Can I go on? Oh, go
ahead.
No, go ahead, Weyu.
Asynchronous swimming. And now
that was my answer.
They're going to call it, what do they call it now? Creative swimming? They changed the
artistic
name.
Swimming.
Artistic swimming.
I think it's artistic swimming now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was watching that yesterday. And just everything from even the hair, like how, I don't know how they keep their hair in the same hairstyle. I saw the makeup. I don't know how they keep their makeup together. They had like the nose things that they keep their noses like closed while they're doing like jumping and flipping in the water. Like they deserve more credit. Yeah, they have like clips.
Oh, wow.
so they don't drown, essentially. So I think they need more credit. That's hard work.
I was watching the explainer video that the NBC did right before the US, competed or whatever, right before the Japanese, and to stay afloat, you should get a gold medal. Like just to stay afloat to do those moves. I was like, that is wild. Yeah, and you can't touch the bottom of the pool. You can't touch the side of the pool. And it is just magnificent. And like to be able to like just submerge yourself and invert yourself and move all over the place and do gymnastic moves in a pool.
Yes.
It's absurd.
Without drowning or dying.
Right. It's absurd. Because I think they said they have to train all the swimmers to at least be able to be underwater for like 2 minutes or something like that. And so like that's wild. So I definitely agree with that one.
And they train for like 5 hours. Did they say like 5 hours a day?
Something
every
like
single
that, yeah.
day? I was like, that I would have gave up already.
Like, where's the kiddie pool? Like, literally, just like whatever, right? Yeah, I'm good.
That's something.
That's some super villains and superheroes in that sport, man. But yeah,
that is true.
I've never had a dull moment watching that sport. I'm not gonna lie, it's cool. What about you, Mimi?
I don't know. I was trying to think. I mean, I don't know. What sport you saying? What sport needs more recognition?
Well, yeah, deserves more money or awareness. Yeah, so recognition's correct.
Oh, I don't know. There are so many sports that people are taking part in that I don't even know. Like if it's not on the main screen, like I'd have to look at a list to be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I caught a little bit of the cycling and the skateboarding. Like I said, I missed the breakdancing. I could only imagine that needs some more.
I don't think the breakdancing started yet. I think it's supposed to start like either today or tomorrow. I don't think it started yet. Yeah, today. Yeah, I think it starts today. Yeah,
and it's called breaking.
Breaking.
Yeah.
No, I never even would have thought that would be here at all.
Hey, shout out to the breaking. I don't know the international
because some of these things,
body is called, but
yeah, it's just so.
Shout out to the
how can
founders.
it be so objective, that you can fairly like the surfing. I was catching the surfing, and I'm like, that's nature. How can you judge two different people in two different waves? Like, I was amazed.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't be a judge for a lot of sports because Dom knows one of my inside jokes. I'll just be like, hey, you know what? They gave you a bronze, but here's a gold on the side. Like, don't tell nobody.
Right.
Wait till
Here's a side piece
2028.
gold.
I put a gold in your pocket. 2028, you can start telling people that you got a gold medal. All right. Yeah. Because it's my favorite photo is still from the surfing, the guy who that surfing photo
that
looks like.
photo is crazy.
Yeah. I'm like, just give him a gold for that photo alone. And then there's a photo of a whale doing its own thing too in the background. The whale's like, hey, what you all doing there? I can do it too. I was like, give that whale. Here you go. Gold medal for you. Whale, get your own gold.
Speaking of like sports that should get more money and recognition, did you guys hear the Flavor Flav story in the
that was gonna be
that
was one
crazy.
of my spots. Yeah. Water polo. Because last night I watched who did I watch? I watched USA Australia, which was a very very tough game. Apparently I didn't know that in water polo you could push somebody's head down because they expelled the US player.
The hell?
And his head was in the water. The Australian guy had his head in the water, and so in trying to push himself out, his hand hit the Australian guy in the face. Well, but it was clear it wasn't like a direct punch, because I think for me it would have been a direct punch. But he was trying to move, and his hand hit the guy in the face, and they called it a strike to the head. So he got a red card. And I was like, man, with video replay, I mean, what's he supposed to do? The guy pushed his head into the water. So And it wasn't like just pushed his head into the water. He like kept his head down in the water.
Oh,
So
God.
the American player got expelled, and the USA won that game on penalty. Yeah, it was like penalty shootout. It was a very tough, close game, and I was like, "Oh, that sport is." Yeah, I was like, it's like playing water soccer and wrestling at the same time because they be dragging and pulling each other in
That's
the
true.
pool, and I'm like, you don't only have to be a good swimmer, you have to have strong hands, and you know how to pull something. I'm like, whoa, man, that's give them money.
You know,
Just pay them.
it's funny. My wife was watching, because we were going through all the events and stuff like that. And you mentioned it was called water soccer. She was like, how many times they gonna repurpose soccer? Because you got water polo, field hockey, handball, right? She's like, how many times they gonna repurpose soccer?
Oh, yeah. Speaking of that, I never knew that New York has a handball that exists. And
team?
I was with some people on Saturday, some of my fellow volunteers in my neighborhood, and we were at the beer garden, and we were, I was like, oh, handball's on TV. And they all turned and looked and were like, that's not handball. What is that? That looked like soccer and basketball together. And I was like, no, that's handball. It's a big sport around the world. They're like, nah, that's not handball. In New York, we don't call that handball. New York has handball. So out there, apparently there's a version of handball that exists only in New York. That's totally different from, I'm just in the studio here. He's nodding with me. Like, it's different from what's called handball at the Olympics. Because I've only known that as handball, and I was like, handball, and it's a very exciting sport. And then all the people at the table who are literally born and raised in New York, everybody looking at me like, no, I don't know what this sport is that you're talking about. I've never seen this sport before. They were all staring like, what is this? Looking at the TV, that's boring. No, I don't understand this. No, I don't get it. No. Where's the wall they're going to bounce the ball at? I said, wall? Well, why are you bouncing the ball at the wall?
Right.
And they're like, that's how we play handball in New York. I was like, oh.
Yeah, we be out here making our own sports. That's the problem. Especially in the US, we make our own sports, call it all the kind of names.
I'm like, that's not an Olympic sport. No. That's not Olympic sports. But for me, water polo or volleyball, that is the main volleyball. There's no volleyball game I've watched that's boring. There has to imagine if there was a volleyball league like we had NFL or NBA here. Because the last volleyball game I've watched live was back when I was in the Middle East and in Bahrain. Man, it's a great time watching volleyball. It's a great time, and I wish we had a functioning league like that over here. In Europe, they do have leagues, and in other parts of the world. It's something that I wish we had over here because. Man, by the time I left the house, USA was playing Brazil. Very tough game. I have one of the men's player who looks like he just popped out of the 70s with his headband. Avril is his name. The game where the men's beat Brazil. That game was another crazy game. I guess USA-Brazil is now becoming a rivalry. But that dude, I don't know. I used to laugh at him at first when I saw him. Then I started saying, hey, man, it's looking like I'm beginning to like this dude. So I guess I'm a fan now. But volleyball is a sport that, man, if you're good, you're good. And even somebody who is just watching it for the first time, it's very easy to follow. You don't really need too much lessons on how to learn this sport. And it's so exciting. So the players need, I wish there was money thrown at that sport. The players deserve to be paid. Because I know when I was in the Middle East, when I was in Bahrain, there were Americans who were there. They were like amongst the highest paid. Americans and Brazilians who were amongst the highest paid. So they were living like superstars there. Because I was at a party and the American volleyball player didn't want to say hi to me. It's like, you're military. You're beneath me. If you want an autograph, you can I'll sign. He was a superstar. I was like, man, nobody know you in America. Hey, you over here, they know you're a superstar. Yeah, you go to America. So I'm a volleyball player. I was like, what? What is that? But every time I see volleyball at the Olympics, you're like, man, look at all this work. Because all that jumping, you need some good ankles, man. You need ankles, good back.
That thing was deep.
Oof. So
Yeah.
I like that sport. I wish there was money, and it also reminds me of growing up in Nigeria and remembering when we used to have a volleyball league and seeing teams from all over the world coming to play, and then we
Oh
discovered
wow.
soccer was soccer. That and everybody quit. Stop putting money in there. It's like, oh, English Premier League. Let's that even became worse because from having our own stuff, we're
That
like,
makes
well, let's watch
sense.
only the English Premier League. And you stop employing your own people and let's watch something that's across the ocean. Who are you employing with that? Nobody. And you start throwing money away, and then we start wondering, oh, why are we not as good as we once were? Because magic. But yeah. So we used to have a volleyball league, we had basketball, we had all that stuff, but we are not investing money in all that. And with time, it dries up and you start losing talent. And that's why you start seeing people who, if they come out, they go end up in other countries. And, why would they not go play for other countries? And then we start getting mad that, oh, they took our talent. Like, yeah, did you value the talent? But yeah, US there's no reason why US shouldn't have a functioning volleyball league, and even if it's regional. But I think
Except
it's
for the
something that's
money.
missing in America.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even water polo. There should be a way to market the water polo league too. I mean,
Well, where are you going to watch
Yeah.
it? Where are you going to watch water polo that you can have people come and watch those games?
I don't
Like
know.
Forest City?
Well, that's a good
Like in the
question.
pool, right?
Well,
Yeah.
you need
You're
good.
going to
I
have to
mean,
have a
there's
pool and
pools at
competitors,
YMCA buildings.
spectators.
We-
Yeah.
I mean,
And that's what I'm thinking. Like America is so all about making money.
mhm.
If it's not going to be a profit,
Right.
to train them, to have practice, to market it, that's why our talent goes, overseas, like you say, to other countries where they respect those sports enough to give them a platform.
Yeah.
They don't, yeah.
Yeah, I'm always surprised like how America can have a competitive water polo team, um, even volleyball team. But I guess with universities, you have competitive teams at the university
Mm,
level, and then you can pick
yeah.
from there. But if you decide to go professional, because I have somebody, I'll try and reach out to him to see if I can interview him because he played. He said he played semi-pro in New York area, and that was the first time I heard. I found out that there's a semi-pro league
Yeah.
in the area, so I have to reach out to him and find out what it's
Because that
like.
would be interesting. How do they keep a pro status or pro level of skill in the off seasons?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know. I mean, for 4 years, are they practicing 5 hours a day
Oof, nice.
here?
And
Who are they
Right.
practicing with?
because
Yeah.
Bahrain is a very small country, and all the volleyball players that I knew there, they were comfortable enough where they didn't have to have a second job. So that means they were being paid well enough to not have a second job. And if
Yeah.
they were Americans in Bahrain, then that means and they were like the highest paid there. Then imagine somebody from Nigeria who I knew who was like, man, I ain't going back to Nigeria. This is great. And he's not the highest paid, but he was a superstar. So you can imagine he's like, man, don't ever mention Nigeria to me. I'm being paid great here. So I can imagine what it's like for the American or the Brazilian they were like gods over there. So yeah, but I don't know, maybe one day we'll figure it out. But yeah, let's see. Final two questions.
Mm.
Who there have been a bunch of athletes that have given killer performances, and which athlete has stood out the most, or what moment has stood out the most so far to you in the moments that you've watched at these Olympics? Could be an individual athlete, could be a team.
I know
Yeah.
for me, it was and it's not even an American team. It was the
It doesn't have to be
France's
American.
team judo. Yeah, the judo team for France.
Oh,
And so, Teddy Raniere, like the multi-time world champion in judo, this tall black guy, like 6'8", just this mountain of a man. He had won his single gold medal.
Was it the guy who, for his fight, it was the Japanese guy he defeated?
Yep.
And it was like the mountain against Prince Oberyn from Game of Thrones.
Right.
Man.
It was epic. It was epic. France was down in the team event, 3-1 to the Japanese, and then they fought back to tie it up. And then they do like to determine the winner. They did like this dial, and like whatever the weight class fell on, that's who would go and fight. And it fell on this dude, the world champion or whatever, this 11-time world champion. And France just erupted and like a movie script.
That's why.
He provided the goal in front of the whole time.
That was an ultimate mismatch right there. I felt bad for the Japanese guy.
It was, but like that moment was epic.
It was epic.
It was epic.
It was like Shaquille O'Neal versus Kevin Hart.
well, the guy from Japanese probably had him in weight, right? But like as far as like just like overall height and weight, like that dude's a mountain of a man. It just looked absurd. Like he is a big dude. He was a big dude. It's like if I came across him, like, yee.
Yeah, I mean, if it was me, they picked on the Japanese side, I would have come out and did this. Salute. There's no shame in running.
Yeah, I just put my karate gi on the floor. It's like, you got it, sir.
Yeah,
you have it.
I mean, 4 years is not too long.
Sir.
No problem. I'll come back in 4 years' time.
I'll gladly take my silver back to Japan. I'm straight.
Silver's not bad, many people didn't get a medal. Silver's not bad.
Silver's good.
Oh yeah.
I saw the photos and I was like, "What is this? How's this guy? Why is this guy so big and this guy so little? Oh no!" I would have. But excuse me.
They'll be like, Dominic, but you trained for 4 years. I don't care.
Yeah.
Listen,
I
don't care.
Nah.
Listen, I'm good.
I said, nah.
I didn't sign up for this.
Nah. I said, am I allowed to carry somebody on my shoulder? I'll carry someone on my shoulder so we'll make the height. We can make up the height. It can be two. Are we two of us? Can we be two against one? No? Okay. Give me a second. I gotta go to the restroom. I'll be right back. Let me go to the restroom.
It wouldn't have been for him though.
Yeah.
I mean like in terms of the guy being like significantly bigger than the other one.
Well, I mean, they both were in the same 90 plus kilograms or whatever. Yeah. So I mean, they both.
The other guy was big too, but
he was like big round,
like big
right?
round.
But this dude was like tall and just like solid.
Yeah, I was. No, not today. Handshake. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
Correct, sir. Correct.
I see you. Yeah. Next time.
And that's a Japanese sport, right?
It is.
And sadly, that's a sad thing to get beat at your own sport.
I don't think
beat.
So.
Yes. If we went as the NBA to play Serbia and Serbia beat us, that would be
Serbia did beat USA in 3-on-3 basketball.
They did in the Olympics?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, they did.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. They absolutely
did.
They absolutely did.
They beat the U.S.
And in the men's, it almost looked like this Japanese versus France judo. The size of the Serbian man was like
the Serbian guy
twice the size of
towered over
US
the USA
man.
men. Like it was absurd.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, they can't come back to the U.S.
Well, I hear you on that, but I always say this, that, it's not about who invented the sport. It's now the sport belongs to the world, That's
no,
correct.
it doesn't.
Oh?
Sports like basketball and football, that belongs to the U.S. We made the rules, and so we should beat the game.
Who made the rules of who made the rules of cricket?
I don't know.
Who made the rules of soccer? Who made the rules
But
of...
that's a global sport. but sports that we created
Who made
just
the rules
so
of
we could
soccer?
win.
Who made
We
the rules
created
of
those
soccer?
sports so we could win, essentially.
Who made the rules
Right?
of soccer?
That's
Well,
a
there's
global
always gonna be
sport.
No.
The world made rules.
It didn't become how did they didn't become a global sport from
Because
day one.
everybody could play soccer. Everybody could play
Basketball,
football.
everybody can play it now. It's a
No,
global
but
sport.
that basketball came from Black people and Jewish people, right?
Ooh.
Oh Lord, yeah, we're going into them. We're getting into some hotepery about come on.
Depends on who you ask. Like
Some
while
hotepery about
Yeah,
come on.
people would say-
Let's get into hotep territory right now. Right?
I believe it. Let me just keep that to myself because I don't know actually the history of it. But the point is that it was from U.S. soil.
Yeah,
And so one of the reasons why the U.S. makes their own sports is so they can win at their own sports.
Baseball.
The reason
so-
we make our own sports is so we can humiliate somebody else. And if that is the way of the game, then yeah, anybody can beat somebody else and say, I'm better than you. And, be like, oh, you think you're better than me? Come here on my court. And okay, well maybe you are.
I have a question, though. I have a question. So Dr. James Naismith, the one who invented basketball, this and the other, right? He invented on American soil, but he's technically Canadian. So who gets credit for that? Who gets credit for that?
Well, the Canadian created to watch the Americans go at each other.
That's fair.
So
That's fair.
But what part of Canada was he from? Was he on the border? Was he slightly on the border that he could be
the
American?
Canadians brought basketball
He probably was.
into our community to make us not love each other. No, we're not doing that. No.
But we really got beat by Serbia, or is that a joke?
Oh,
that was on 3-on-3, not 5-on-5.
It was 3-on-3. It was 3-on-3. It wasn't 5-on-5.
Wait, you taking this so seriously? Wait, relax.
Nobody even watches 3-on-3 anyway. 3-on-3 was created to have a level ground.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah,
But
the U.S. does take. But the U.S. does take on Serbia in 5-on-5 later today. So we'll get some get back.
And this is where you're going to see LeBron.
Yeah, King James coming. He's going to be like, here you go, revenge. Pow.
Yeah.
So, okay.
They were like trying to be low key, but then they have to turn it up because like, okay, all right, we have some real competition here now.
Right.
The size is going to be much more, even in the 5-on-5. Because I didn't know that 3-on-3 existed. I was just walking by and the TV had 3-on-3 on, and I was like, what? Wait, this is a replay of because they played each other in the group stage on 5-on-5, and USA smashed Serbia. So I'm like, oh, they're replaying the Serbia USA game. Oh, so Serbia was leading, and then USA came and whooped them. And I was like, wow, these Serbians look bigger than the US. When did LeBron and the rest? When they gonna come in? I was like, they're not, and then, the game ended.
When is LeBron gonna come in?
But that part of the world is tall,
like, how many white people did they take with the team? Why? This basketball court looked different from the one I saw that time. I'm like, wow. And they're like 2 white guys and 1 black. Where the rest of the players? Why do Serbians look so big? Wow. Something wrong with this. And then game ended. I was like, the game over? What? And that's how I discovered it was 3-on-3 basketball. And then on the women's side too, they be beating the US women's team too. I was like, damn, this is a sport Nigeria should have been playing. They would have gotten to the semifinal. Not the one.
Now the women did take the gold in Tokyo in 3-on-3.
Yeah.
They did take the gold, but they got the bronze this time.
Yeah. So
I don't know what was happening during Tokyo, but I don't think I watched any game.
Yeah, I don't think
a lot of people did. A lot of people did.
That was
it was COVID.
It was the COVID Olympics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tokyo didn't want to postpone it. Tokyo was like, we're gonna have it. It's gonna happen. So
it's just kind of
So it's more like people like even the athletes didn't really enjoy that Olympics. So which is sad because Tokyo is a fun place and many people were looking forward to it, but COVID. So Weyu and Mimi, you haven't given us your standout athlete or team performance.
Oh my
So
goodness.
far.
It's
Go ahead,
yeah.
Mimi.
I think
I mean,
I think I know where you will pick, but
yeah, it's pretty basic. It's pretty black girl magicy, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, when Jordan and Simone and Rebecca, when they all won in gymnastics, and then you have the photo of them like bowing down to
hey,
her. I think that was really memorable
That was a
because,
cool
and I even
moment.
posted it at work too. And I was about to say
Mhm.
Black Girl Magic, and I was like, I'll just leave this here for them, how they're supporting other,
Mhm.
athletes in their sport. But
I should frame that.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that should be up there with, the picture of Obama as the first family.
Hey,
But in the same breath of me admiring, that great moment, I'm also like, man, so much like so much money, you know, that goes into these games and the
Mhm.
time and effort that people put into it. And I'm like, we're wasting our lives here, playing these games, but we enjoy them so much. And just like how are their lives going to be different when they go home? Like when Rebecca goes back
Mhm.
to, Brazil, is she going back to Brazil, or is she going to, like some athletes, then live abroad, or how differently their lives change. But that really was a moment that stood out for me. Um, so I was like, and I called my niece who does gymnastics, and she's gone to national competitions,
oh,
and she
awesome.
wasn't even watching the Olympics. I'm like, what is going on over there? Like, you should be, watching history in the making, you know. But
I think
Yes,
that was the first time the podium featured all black women. I think that was the first time that
yeah,
had ever
at the
happened.
Yes,
Olympics.
yeah,
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at
that
the
was
World
wild.
Championship,
and the big
Mhm.
thing
we
because of
had
the
all
sport
black
she
girls too.
That's
But
crazy.
was the
yeah.
other? I've forgotten her name, but she didn't make the Olympics team. But we had all black girls at the World Championship. It was
Oh,
Mhm.
Simone Andrade. But Andrade was second. I've forgotten the black girl from the States, but I don't think she made the Olympics team.
So Gabby
Mhm.
Douglas,
No, not Gabby. Um, Jordan Childs, I think
Jordan,
replaced her. But
got you.
yeah,
I don't
but
know.
her name will come to me. But she's in the
This is the
the
only
Simone
lineup I
Biles.
know.
She's
Mhm.
in the Simone Biles documentary on Netflix.
But Jordan almost didn't make the podium because it was a score. They challenged her score, and that's how she got up there. So that was like a last
Mhm.
minute, like, and heartbreaking for the other poor girl. I don't know if she was Romanian or what, but
I think there was another update earlier today where I think they actually did take that bronze from Jordan. I think.
oh, did
Oh,
they?
I
Whoa.
Oh,
I think so.
I
I
mm-hmm.
missed
think
that
so.
I
Might
headline.
knew
want
they were
to.
challenging it.
Yeah, it was like a whole deal. So I think they end up giving it to
Mhm.
somebody else,
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
unfortunately.
wow.
But you
nice.
still got that photo though.
Yeah, we got the
that's
You still
right.
photo.
got that
We'll
photo.
take the
That's
photo.
So
right.
Take the
that's what I'm gonna
photo.
tell my grandkids.
Yeah.
Like, these were the people on the podium.
Right.
Tell my grandkids that girl, the one who got the bronze, she Romanian. She black
Mm,
Romanian.
Yeah.
mhm,
Yeah, they got
Yeah.
black
Mhm.
in every country now. So same.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, they definitely pulled them out for the Olympics.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
I know. I was like, whoa.
That's gonna be
They're
my
looking
final
for
Right.
the
point. I
They're
have
looking for the
something to say
talent.
about that
Mhm.
on my final point.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's
where you? What's your standout athlete moment from the Olympics so far?
so I would say along the lines of Mimi, like seeing black women in gymnastics, especially when I heard what is her name? Rebecca. She turned on what is the music? Brazilian funk.
Mm.
And I lived in Brazil before, so that music has a bad connotation,
Mm,
especially for white Brazilians. And so for her to turn that on when she's doing her floor like moves, I was like, yes. And then I had another moment yesterday because I was watching, I don't know what it's called, but they run for a longer period of time. And it's
like
usually
steeplechase.
like, I don't know, but it
Is
seemed
it
like I was watching
they run
the
and they
Squid
jump?
Games. No, they don't. It's they just run.
Oh, mm.
And I was
But
like,
if it,
yesterday was really intense because it was like the Squid Games, and they had like water in front of them
I
when they
saw
were
that.
Steeplechase.
running.
Yeah,
What is it
steeplechase.
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 Yeah.
I never saw anything like that. And somebody fell at the Ethiopian. He was like
Yeah,
going in
that was
front,
very
and he
painful.
jumped over.
that was
He
fun to
fell.
watch.
I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh my
Oh.
God. And then people just jumped over him. I was like, oh my God, is this
Yeah.
the Hunger Games or something?
Yes.
This is, it was so
Yeah,
like,
that final was
Yelling
intense.
at TV.
It was
but at least the
intense.
guy from Morocco won. I'm happy to see other places in the world win, especially since they don't have the same amount of training and the same amount of money of the United States, you know, Europe, Australia, to see other places like the lady run from St. Lucia
Yeah.
and win. To me, that is very valuable too, because they deserve to be on the podium as well.
FYI, El Bakali, who won the steeplechase, he's the defending champion. He won in Tokyo too.
Yeah.
He's,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah. He's
Yeah, Americans actually don't really do.
well,
I mean,
this is the best.
historically,
This has been America's
yeah.
best performance in long distance.
Historically, we don't do well in distance.
I thought like Ethiopians, Kenyans
Kenya has been
usually do
Kenya has
well.
been weak of late. There's been something that our good friend Sambaza has been he's been exploding. It's been rough for him. But it's something that I think it speaks to two things. Their program, which is very competitive in Kenya. So some who have felt like, okay, there's not room for me to grow on the athletics side, especially long distance running. So I'm not going to make it, or I can't make it. And there are countries in Middle East who are like taking them. Come, we don't have room. So if you notice, a lot of Middle Eastern representation is a lot of Middle Eastern countries are competing now in long distance running. And then that also the United States benefited, UK benefited because, and also this thing of you want to kill gay people and all this stuff that is not productive to us. It's affecting this our places where we are competitive in. So we've been losing athletes. We don't want to talk about that. And the countries that are like, we're not going to kill you, and they go there. And yeah, so I mean, for a long time, the 100 meters champion. I'm not saying he's LGBTQ, but that's not why. But dude who was European champion for a long time in 100 meters was Nigerian, and but he was running for Portugal. The lady from Spain was 100 meters, and I think 200 meters. Her boyfriend died at Sydney 2000 while she was presenting Nigeria, and Nigeria didn't bother to console her. They were like, go and run. But the boyfriend died at the Olympics. They told her to go and run, and she said, okay, I'm out. Bye. And Spain, she started representing Spain. So there are stories like that. I forgot to respond to my brother who posted about the lady who ran the 200 meters while she was crying. If you win the medal, your state will claim you, federal will claim you. But the guys who won gold in '96, the houses were promised. Not all of them have received the houses. Some have died. So there's that. But the insults you will get for not getting the medal is still there. So
wow,
we don't consider all these things. You saw the lady who got discus. Was it discus or shot put for United States?
I think
who represented Nigeria she got silver. She represented Nigeria.
I think she got silver in the shot put,
Tokyo, and she was supposed to represent Nigeria in Tokyo, and they messed up her paperwork, and she switched to United States, and then she wins silver. Of course, we start claiming her. Oh, Nigeria, you see, we're the best. I'm like, you see paperwork, you just something simple like that, you mess it up, and then another country will say, we'll take care of you. Just the basics. Just do the basics. That's all. Do the basics. And there's so many factors like that. We don't even think about all these things. So I'm not mad anymore when athletes are like, yeah, you know what? I want to do this. This is what I want to do. They haven't even gotten to what I want to do after the running or the jumping or but just to do the basics, and I want to represent my country. Then you want to kill me on top of that? No. So they move. So that's another reason why we're seeing the representation so high in other countries. And in the 3-on-3 basketball, I saw Azerbaijan had 2 black girls on their starting team. I don't know on the bench if there was more black girls, but I know when they played United States, I think they beat United States in the game I was watching, and they had 2 black girls. I was trying to see I saw one of them's name sounded English like, so I couldn't tell if she was like American or Canadian, or if she had a background from those places, or could be African. But I'm not surprised to see that anymore. And you're allowed to migrate. There's freedom and all that. We should, I don't have any issue with that anymore. It's not like in the past. But there's so many things like, people just need to remember that when, people are like, it's easy to just say, oh, look at black people just showing up with these countries every 4 years during the Olympics. But how do you treat the people who represent you? It matters. It matters if you don't give them the bare minimum. You can't even do the bare minimum for them. They put their life on the line, and then you're like, oh, yeah, we'll give you everything. 10 years later, they are begging for what you promised. 20 years later, their children see all these things. So their children are like, yep, I'm not representing you. And they go represent somebody else. So, yeah, and other people benefit. And that's why I'm not surprised to see USA now doing well in long distance running. It's now USA's gain, because from way back in the 90s, other countries are coming to train in Kenya. Their long distance athletes were coming there. It doesn't mean that they were beating Kenyans. But all these things, with time, you start to improve. But at the same time, if you're the one training other countries and you're not improved, it doesn't mean you should be dropping. So it's just, there's a whole lot of things that I wish people will, it's like we miss all the lessons. But
Can I ask one question about long distance running?
I
I saw some water on the floor. Is that on purpose? Like there was actual
steeplechase.
In the steeplechase, yeah.
What is the significance of it? Is it to cool them down when they splash? I was trying to figure that out.
I think it's a breakup. I mean, it's an endurance race, right? And so like that from the jumping up to the falling in water, I mean, it's something that could slow you down, right? So I think it's just adds to the difficulty, because over time you're tired, you're breathing hard, this, that, and the other. So like you just want to run. You don't want to jump over something or land in water, because it's like a changing landforms, if you will, right? So I think it just adds to the difficulty later in the race. Of like, you're already tired. Let's throw another wrench into the thing. So it's just add to the difficulty of the steeplechase. So
I thought it was cruel. I just have to say.
Oh yeah,
and that's why it's only 3,000 meters as opposed to like the 10,000 meters. Yeah. I bet you people would rather run the 10,000 meters, where it's just around the track, as opposed to just 3,000 meters with the steeplechase. You got to jump over stuff. You got to try not to get, you got also, in addition to not like, clipping over somebody's other feet or whatever, and like all like 10 of you falling down at the same time. So yeah, it's an endurance, and it's an endurance race, but it's also like a chess match at the same time.
All right, so I'll say mine quickly, and then we wrap up with the last question. I think my most impressive, there's a lot of moments I could pick from, but I'll have to go with Mian Lopez of I think I said his first name right, Mian Lopez of Cuba, for the 5-time record wrestler. I mean, there's no better way to retire than to take off your shoes after you've won your fifth straight gold medal, and all right, I'll leave my shoes here and walk away. That's it. I'm done. That was just I was like, yeah, respect, man.
To win 5 gold medals in 5 different Olympiads, that's longevity. That's what you call a dynasty.
Yeah.
Right. And like and then like you said, last match.
We get an echo.
Uh-oh.
Did you disconnect something, Weyu?
No.
Okay.
It's still an echo?
No. There's still an echo now?
Oh yeah, we still have an echo. Did you
know what happened?
You were using your headset before. Did you disconnect it?
No, I'm still using it.
Okay. All right. Well, continue speaking. Oh wait, I'm hearing the echo again.
Let me see.
Continue speaking, Dom. I don't hear that.
No, it was just kind of cool to see him like on his last match, like you said, put his shoes down on the mat and like I'm done. And so it was just kind of cool way to see him go out
Wow.
on his fifth one.
Yeah, it was respect to him. And Amand Duplantis, that boy and world records, man.
That was dope.
Yeah, that dude. And himself and
I think
Shakari started college on the same day.
mhm. That
The
was
same
awesome.
school.
I think that's another thing that's the beauty of the games, right? Because like at that point, like everybody in the stadium is cheering for him to get the world record. It didn't
Yeah.
matter what flag
And
he
it's
was
his own
representing,
world
what
record.
country he was from.
His own world
Right,
record.
his own world record. Like
Yeah.
you just want to see greatness, right?
Mhm.
No matter what country they're from. And so to see him do that and like everybody cheering for him, it just speaks to the spirit of the games and why we kind of another reason why we love, putting ourselves through this every 4 years. I guess
That's right. So, final question, quick round. If you were to get a uniform or jersey right now, what if I were to offer you the opportunity to get a uniform or jersey, which one will you get? Any country, any team, any sport from the Olympics?
That's a good one. I mean, I know I would say the United States because I'm born here, right? So I'm going to say United States. So that's the country, right?
Which sport?
But which sport? I'm gonna go with weightlifting. I'm gonna go with weightlifting. I can watch weightlifting no matter who's competing, like just like all day because I'm always fascinated by the strength, not just physical but mental strength it takes to pull that off. Right. So yeah, United States weightlifting, I guess.
Okay. What about you, Weyu?
I would say it's hard for me. I would say if I could do like a multi countries jersey,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
it will be US, my mother, Belize, my father, US Virgin Islands or British Virgin Islands.
Yeah, but which sport?
I would say running because I read something yesterday about this Belizean guy who wanted to compete in running. And he got, he wasn't like qualified, but anyways, he was like in the sport, but he was talking about the lack of money for training and just visibility overall. And how we talk about how, the Olympics is about the best teams, but it's actually about who has the most resource, which is true. So I would represent maybe like running and hopefully like, the islands or people from Central America have as much chance as somebody from the US.
Okay. So, with running, you that means you're wearing the vest like just letting you know, right?
No, I can wear that Noah Lyle shirt that Snoop Dogg had yesterday. I could do a little
Yeah, but
remix and,
when I'm talking of the athletes uniform that they're wearing on the track, that's
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
in the competing arena.
Okay,
So
so in that
I think you
okay,
will
go
like
ahead.
you will like mine. I think you will like mine, but you can use that to think of yours going forward. Oh, I'm hearing the echo again. I don't know. Well, when I speak, that's when I hear the echo now. But anyway, um, so there's two that I can't decide which I like the most. Um, yeah, USA has a lot of cool jerseys, but I don't think I've seen anybody beat Brazil's volleyball shirts, men's and women's. Those shirts are fire. The yellow is just fire. And Japan's soccer shirts, men's and women's, sexy. Their volleyball shirts, I can't decide which one is sexier, their volleyball or their soccer shirts. Their soccer shirts is the Y3 brand instead of Adidas, like most people have on their shirts. So check both out, and you see what I'm talking about. Brazil volleyball, Japan's volleyball or soccer jerseys. Hey, you see that you can't miss. If you wear either one of them, yeah, I know I'm getting them. I'm getting them. And I've seen some other cool ones from other countries, and I'm like, I need to stop looking at this because I don't know how much I'm going to budget for this. But yeah,
You'll be broke.
I'm going to be broke. But that's why I love New York, because I wear different jerseys on the street, and people will just, hey man, shout out, yeah, my brother. I'm like, yeah, I ain't from there though, but peace, yeah, peace and love, yes, respect. If it looks nice, I wear it. That's all. But anyway, I think we have to stop here. We'll do another episode after the Olympics, and hopefully I'll have Zenith here, because Zenith played volleyball, she played handball, not New York handball. I have to make that correction now. So, yes, now that I know the difference between New York handball and world handball. So we'll have Zenith here, and she will talk about what she feels like seeing all the sports being played. So I can't thank you all enough for giving me your time. Mimi had to run. She had something to do, but we thank Mimi for joining us. So please let the people know where they can find you and, yeah, how they can get in touch.
I'll go after Weyu.
So folks can find me at Labyrinth of the First Gen. I also have my own podcast, and you can find me on Instagram at Labyrinth of the First Gen.
All right.
And I'm Dominic Lawson. You can find me on IG, The Real Dominic Lawson, or also on LinkedIn, first name, last name, Dominic Lawson, and also podcast Black is America on all major platforms.
All righty. So keep enjoying. Well, by the time this episode comes out, yeah, you still have the Olympics going on, and look out for the part 2 episode. Thank you for the privilege of your company. Thank you for the privilege of your time. Be good, be kind, be awesome. Keep winning gold medals in your life. Thanks for listening to White Label American. If you enjoyed the show, please give a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app. You can follow the show on all social media platforms. Visit the White Label American website for links for donations, episodes, feedback, guests, merch, and newsletter. Don't forget to download the free White Label American app on the Google Play Store and Apple coming soon. Thank you for the privilege of your company.